All right, so today we have probably one of the coolest cars we've ever had inside of these shop walls. We have a 2017 Dodge Charger with a HellCat. That's 707 horsepower, stock from the factory, HellCat SRT. But before we can get to work on this, we gotta go into the mechanic shop and get working on our JK. Do you know what day it is? It's JK rear axle day. That's what day it is. Hillbilly said it's the day that we go over the hump. We've got our Fusion Dana 80 back here, and we have our truss that is not for a Dana 80, it's for a 14 bolt. So we're gonna make said 14 bolt truss fit on Dana 80 rear. This is designed for a 3-inch tubed housing. Our Dana 80 is a 4-inch. That's 4 inches, right?
Sure.
So it's a 4-inch tube. So we gotta cut and spread and do all the fun stuff, and then we're gonna mount it to the axle. Then what we're gonna do is get all our suspension put in. But rather than explain it, we're just gonna show you how to do it. I'm gonna slice and dice it right here on both sides, then we're gonna spread it open. We're gonna make it 4 inches wide. Oh yeah. Oh, that was real nice.
Llama, totally rad llama. Big fat mama llama.
You never told us about the totally rad llama.
I didn't know that until last night. So it's happy llama, sad llama.
Drama llama.
Totally rad
Totally rad llama.
Big fat mama llama.
Amazing.
It's on YouTube.
We got this sucker cut. We got our happy llama, rad llama stuff going. We're gonna do some spreading. So we're gonna spread this to, oh, that's hot. We're gonna spread this out to 4 inches. So we've got to spread this 3/4 of an inch with our Porto Power. Okay, everybody watch out. Go. A little bit more. Okay, hold it. Whoa. Here. Okay, hold it. That'll work, Batman. Now we got this in the way. We're gonna flapper disc this off, and then the truss should sit. We'll level the pinion, and we'll level this so it's completely level with the truss. So whatever the angle of the pinion is, the top of the truss will be. Ooh, that's our new Sia abrasives, grinder disc, and our Bosch grinder. See how it does. Kind of cool because these grinder discs, you can use the edge. Works pretty dang good. Almost there. I'm gonna flatten this up a little bit here, take off some of the castings. Now before the internet takes me to Pound Town, all I'm doing is taking the casting marks off. I am not cutting my housing up. So I have not ruined it. Okay, look at that.
Right there, it's perfect.
Right there. See that? So don't beat me up, internet. Everything's gonna be just fine. It's gonna fit like a glove that goes on Hillbilly's hand. It's gonna fit perfect right there. That is so amazing. As if this 14 bolt truss was meant to be on the back of this Dana 80. Before we fully weld that in, we better make sure we can get a nut in that. We almost had a catastrophic failure, but we were smarter than the failure. We're gonna do some really boring stuff for about 5 more minutes, and you'll see us here in about 1 second. We ended up kicking it about 5 degrees forward, but that's so that the nut will clear. We got our air line that'll clear, and we got our vent tube that'll clear. I'm gonna get this tacked into place. All right, so I've got one side fully welded. Now all we gotta do, flip this around, we'll weld up the other side, and then this truss will be all finished up. Okay, nobody breathe. That is where it needs to be, 6 degrees. All right, so we need to pull a center line measurement of 75 inches. What we're gonna do is we're gonna set it in place. Oh, and make sure it doesn't fall. There's our center. We gotta come back on. It's dead on. And then we're gonna center the axle. With all the measurements that we were given, this should fit right in, or close to it. All right, we have one upper successfully installed. Check this out. Just wanna point out the fact that this will go right in. Look at that. So do you wanna know what that tells me? We did something right. Oh, and did you see?
I did. I'm trying not to cough.
Oh, he's crying. He's so happy. Look at that. Owen is so excited. That means that our upper triangulation is perfect. We have the rear end exactly where it needs to be. This one's difficult because it's not just a picture. It actually has writing, so I had to read it. I think it's working. So So we've got this at 10 degrees on the money, and this should be 0. Boom, look at that. How's that for precise? So we're gonna throw a few tacks so that this does not move. All right, so I've got this all tacked up. It's late and we're tired, so it is tomorrow. All right, so it is the next day. We've got these brackets all shortened up. We're gonna get them welded into place, and then Hillbilly is gonna work on getting this rear end out so we get the bottom sides all welded.
Okay, so now I'm gonna grab my welding helmet and let you guys watch through the welding helmet so you can see how we see the welds and how we protect our eyes from the bright light.
Like that. So what we're doing now, Hillbilly got all those bars out. We're gonna be lifting the frame up. Hillbilly had a great idea. I was gonna pull it back, rotate it, but we're just gonna lift the frame out of our way. We are getting the strut put into place where it's gonna get welded. I think that's the golden spot. All right, we're gonna put our protective blanket over this. All right, we got both sides done now. So we'll get a spacer built and weld it in solid. The point of the spacer is to keep this gap out so that these won't move in. I'm gonna get this bracketry all welded. We've got these brackets completely welded. The only thing we have left is the shock mounts. So I'm gonna hurry and weld these up, then this thing will be ready to install for the final time. All right, so we've got the rear axle completely welded up. We're gonna let that stuff cool off, but it's late, I'm tired, so it is tomorrow. Getting these spacers out. This one Hillbilly built. What we're gonna do is get this down and put the links back in for the final time. And we're hoping to work on the front. This rear end is finally to the point where we can install it and see what it's gonna look like. Got all the brackets welded, trying to get this out.
You keep jumping in size.
I keep jumping sizes. I got the biggest pliers they make, just my Yetta baby ones. Here in a minute, we got a pallet from our buddies over at Harbor Freight. So we're gonna be pulling that inside and getting it all unboxed and see what they sent us. Did you guys know that Harbor Freight sells pallet jacks? Well, neither did I.
If you don't, you do now.
Yeah, you didn't know? Now you do.
Let's make a racer pallet jack and put a motor on it.
We're constantly moving pallets around, so this pallet jack's gonna really help us out. That way we don't have to go get the skid loader or our forklift that doesn't have an engine.
Poor Frank.
Yeah, poor Frankie Poo. We got a portable bandsaw. Got us a bandsaw. Got us a shop press.
That's not a press, that's a jack.
Bottle jack. All right, so our friends over at Harbor Freight really came through. They got us a bandsaw, a portable bandsaw, and a 20-ton shop press. Hillbilly is gonna take a minute, hurry throw that bad boy together. So thank you, Harbor Freight. We appreciate everything you guys do for us. What do you think of the new shop press?
Something we've really needed.
That's for sure. It's gonna come handy when we do the gears on the Bronx Star and another build.
And U-joints.
We've been doing U-joints in a vise for years and years and years and on the ground with hammers. This is gonna be a game changer. Thank you, Harbor Freight. And if you guys want some of these awesome tools, head over to harborfreight.com, get you a press, get you a bandsaw, get you whatever you want. We're gonna get back to work on the JK, but not before we play with some of these new tools. So while Hillbilly's lowering that down, these are called bump stops. We're gonna put these in so that when we lower this frame all the way down to the axle and strap it, it's gonna be sitting on the bump stops. As soon as it's done, we'll lower it down and put the control arms in. So the boss is staying home with the kids today. We don't have any other help. So you're gonna have to deal with some tripod stuff and hopefully you enjoy it. We're gonna show you a sweet little montage of getting these rear control arms all put in. So when we welded this other bracket, it just brought it in a tiny bit. So we're gonna grab the porta power and just push it out a little so that it will go in. We're just gonna hurry and spread this. It literally only has to move like that much. We just wanna go baby increments so we don't ruin it. Perfect, right in now. We've got all 4 control arms in it. We're gonna let the frame down to where we can pick up the axle. So this front end's probably gonna start teetering.
Gonna lower the frame down to where the bump stops are hitting.
All right, so we have this at completely full bump and everything clears. We're gonna get it strapped up with Bikes and Beards tank straps. We love these things because we can just wrap it around and put it right back to itself. And then we're gonna try to lift this up without teetering off of the lift.
So we just ratchet strapped the axle up because there's nothing to hold the axle in place. So if we raise it, the axle will stay down as the frame goes up until it's swinging, because there's no strut towers or no struts to hold it in from going down all the way. And we also need the jack stands that axle's sitting on for the front axle. Now I'll give it a try and make sure it's not trying to do this on us. So I got the high lift jack so we can lift it up high enough to get the jack stands out. We don't have to send it to the moon because we need to get the front set, so
what he's trying to say is we're gonna use the jack as a support on the rear axle. All we're gonna do is take this front end up enough that we can get the jack stands out, put them on that front axle, and then we can position the front axle without the back falling. It's basically just a safety net so that nothing falls off the lift.
But it's not a net, it's a jack, so it's a safety jack.
That's right. Tiny bit of pressure ball right there. So now we need to get this front axle lifted off the ground. So we're gonna grab our Harbor Freight pallet jack and we're gonna see how high we can lift it. That way we don't have to break our backs getting it on the jack stands.
I don't think it's gonna go high enough for the jack stands.
Yeah, but then we only have to lift it like 5 inches instead of 10.
Why don't we just lower it down, ratchet strap around the frame of the axle, and
sounds like a lot of work. But we might
better than blowing our back out.
Be a man, blow your back out. Got ABS sensors that we're gonna pull off because they just get in the way.
Plus your rope.
So that helped. You don't always need a pallet jack, but it helps.
Did it really though?
It does help. Yeah, not really.
It would have been nice to have this when it was moving around.
Right there. No front end has ever defeated Hillbilly. Real men of genius. All right, so we're gonna avoid showing you all the boring stuff. We're gonna get this positioned and centered and all the angles correct, and then we'll bring you right back. All right, so after a ton of mathematical equations and a lot of trigonometry and geometry and all the other stuff that goes good with that, I'm exhausted from using my brain. Anyway, we've got the axle set, it's squared, it's centered, it's everywhere that it needs to be. It's on a 6-degree uphill thingy with the pinion. It says 84.1, but we'll get that puppy to 84. We just gotta do a little tap-tappy on it. He's getting the lower links all squared away, getting the correct length on them. I'm gonna get the lower brackets all installed. I'm gonna try to put them on, tack them in place without actually having the tube in them because I have the center lines, I've got the degree that it needs to be pivoted to. Then we'll put the links on, check it all, and then the problem we have to get this thing finished today is we don't have the upper mount. So this is the upper mount that comes with it. We've got to build us a truss because we don't have a front Dana 60 truss for our Fusion axle. The one that Jen Wright uses is for a Curry front axle, and we're not using that. That's gonna be later. We're gonna fabricate that. All right, so I'm getting the track bar put in place. I've got my center line, and I've got my 4 degrees kicked back. So I'm gonna hurry and tack this thing. The heat just moved it, so I'm gonna talk it into going back again. So I'm gonna hurry and cut this tack and get it to lay back a little bit. We're off by 0.2 degrees. There we go. Now we got it back. Now I'm gonna get my track bar and hopefully just weld it in and get the right length in it. All right, we got that one set at exactly 10 degrees. All our centers are correct. I'm gonna get this plumb bob out of the way. All right, so I've got the 2 brackets on this side all tacked up. We'll get the rods here in a minute, but we're working on the track bar link. Hillbilly is reaming that out so that the bung will go in it. He's reaming it by hand. All right, so I've got my center mark on this. I've just used some tape, got my gauge. We're gonna put it up in here and get it tacked. So I've got that tacked in with 4 tacks. I'm gonna verify that all my centers and my 10-degree angle is correct. So I got my center mark right there. All right, it's saying 10.1, but it'll bounce back to 10.0 here in a second. You just wanna make sure everything is super, super precise on this because you don't want any issues. And the way Jen Wright Off-Road has engineered the suspension system, I mean, there's like tiny, tiny bits of clearance, but everything will clear.
If done right.
Yeah, if done right with Jen Wright. All right, so now we're gonna set up the track bar. This overall length needs to be 41.62. So we went and got our super difficult to read tape measure. We're gonna go 41.62. Should work. We're gonna properly install this. Cool. All right, we'll put a tack weld on that, then we'll install it and see if it fits. I'll let Hillbilly touch the hot side so that I don't get burnt.
Down a little bit.
All right, so our track bar is in and it fits. We had to make a slight adjustment. We just had to turn it in a half a turn on the one end. Got the bolts in, had to persuade the one side just a tiny bit because it's brand new joints. They're a little stiff. We're gonna throw in the lower links. All right, so this is our upper mount. Now this is designed for a different axle than what we're using, like we said. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna build us a truss that goes from here up underneath to the other side of the tube. So right here is the big ear that we're gonna chop off. So it's not needed. So we're just gonna cut it off. And then we're gonna rebuild a truss to mount this. We'll probably wanna square it up. This won't be on a perfect angle, but it'll articulate just fine. Well, that's pretty much as far as we can get on this. So let's go get back on that HellCat that we showed you guys at the beginning of this video. We have a 2017 Dodge Charger with a HellCat. That's 707 horsepower, stock from the factory, HellCat SRT. What's underneath that hood? I wish was mine. 707 ponies right there, and that is factory. This thing is wicked fast. So this car comes out of the Las Vegas area. It's not ours, it's a customer's. It got wrecked. Not 100% sure what happened other than there's a lot of damage right here. We got a wheel that's puckered back and it needs a quarter panel and some other damage underneath taken care of. So we're gonna be getting to work on this thing, figuring out what all is wrong with it, getting it torn apart, and hopefully getting to fix it. We're not 100% sure if it's gonna total or not, but we're crossing our fingers that it doesn't because I wanna fix it. It's challenging and I think it's a super cool car. We're gonna get started, getting it torn apart. We're gonna be disassembling the front end of this. So here we go. We're gonna get the hood off, get it on a stand, work on the bumper. This is smashed all the way into almost to the motor. Fuse box is broken, ABS is all laid over, washer bottle. So I think if we can get this, the upper tie bar, bumper, hood, fender, we can really get in here and see what all is wrong with this HellCat. I got the washer bottle hose out of the way so that we don't break it. Now we're gonna get the hood all off. The cool thing about this Charger is it's a 4-door. So you can take your whole family to go have activities.
Wow, it's so open now.
So whatever this thing hit, it hit it hard because it almost looks like it got wrapped around a pole. There's a perfect pull mark right into the front core support. Luckily, nobody got hurt. I've got the passenger fender disconnected. We're gonna be getting this front bumper off. Hillbilly has one more bolt. Until he will gently take this front bumper off. Well, that was easy. Now we'll work on the driver's fender.
It's gonna need a whole new core support.
We'll get the fender off. So we're gonna end up changing the driver's fender too. Oh, look at that. We got some indirect damage over here. So right here we have a buckle. This is called indirect damage. This is damage that's caused from the opposite side of the wreck. Your vehicles are designed to distribute energy through the car to keep the occupant safe. So as you can see, this thing buckled. That's because energy traveled over here. It's kind of cool when you get things, when you start taking cars apart, to see where the damage is at, especially when it's not wrecked on this side. It's wrecked on that side. Kind of crazy. It's so damaged that everything's just like falling off. But we're gonna work on getting this upper tie bar off. Hopefully the heartbeat of this car, the HellCat, isn't damaged. Hillbilly's gonna work on getting the horns removed, and I'm gonna stand in the way as I do best. We disassemble the whole thing, and then we start separating all the damaged parts, all the good parts. We'll write a list, we'll figure out what all we need so we can get it off to the insurance company.
Which at this rate, there's not much we're gonna be pulling off that's good on the front of this.
Yeah. All the cooling is damaged, so we're gonna be getting the AC machine, discharging the air conditioner. We'll get the coolant drained.
Holy crap.
What?
How did the guy get so lucky that it hit in between each of the cores and not touch a core?
I'm gonna say that this is an auxiliary, and he did that by design.
It sounded cooler what I said.
You're right. Whoa! We've got the AC machine discharging our air conditioner. So we've got this radiator support disconnected. So we're gonna hurry and pull that off, and then it's gonna take a little while before the AC machine is finished. So we'll hurry and pull the upper tie bar off. So we've gotten the ABS unit out. We're trying to see if the engine got hit, but we can't quite get in there far enough. This machine's gonna take a lot longer than we have today, so we've run out of time. We got a lot done on it. So we're gonna have to finish this up another day. We'll be able to take all the cooling out of it, get all that stuff out, and really see where the damage is. And then we gotta get this thing on the frame rack to get that rail pulled out. All right, as always, we appreciate you. If you enjoyed this video, go check out this one.